Good evening and welcome. You're watching the news track. I'm Rahul Kanwal. Who's really at fault in the theatre stampede episode at Hyderabad? In the midst of claims and counterclaims, we'll try and get to the bottom of who's at fault. And that's my top focus on the news track tonight.
Pushpa 2 stampede showdown escalates. Hyderabad cops counter Allu Arjun. Did superstar ignore warnings? Did Allu Arjun fuel fan frenzy? Allu Arjun versus Revanth Reddy war hits top gear. Political wildfire over Allu Arjun. Big focus on news track.
It's superstar Allu Arjun versus the Hyderabad police over the Pushpa 2 stampede death in Hyderabad on the 4th of December. The actor is claiming innocence and the Telangana police is blaming him for the mishap. The Hyderabad police has now released a full sequence of events alleging that the actor refused to leave the theatre even after having been informed about the fatal stampede.
The controversy surrounding Pushpa 2 premiere stampede outside a cinema hall in Hyderabad on December 4 shows no signs of dying down. While superstar Allu Arjun repeatedly claims his innocence, the Telangana government continues to blame the actor for the mishap which led to the death of a woman and left her 8-year-old son critically injured. The Hyderabad Police Commissioner shared CCTV footage from Sandhya Theatre which shows Allu Arjun and his team exiting the premises under tight police security after the stampede broke out. As per the timeline released by the Hyderabad Police, around 9:10 p.m. on December 4, Revanth and her family arrived at Sandhya Theatre for the premiere of Pushpa 2. At around 9:30 p.m., Allu Arjun, after crossing Mushirabad metro station, kicked off a road show and waved to the crowd, which as per the police was already unruly. At around 9:40 p.m., Allu Arjun and his family entered the theatre in different cars. The situation had already escalated by then. Around 11:30 p.m., the police reached out to Allu Arjun informing him about the fatality outside. Police claimed the actor insisted on watching the entire film. At 11:45 p.m., senior officers and the SHO of Chikkadpalli asked the actor to leave the theatre because of the situation outside. At around 12:10 a.m. on December 5, Allu Arjun and his family were escorted out of the theatre by the police. The police claimed the actor waved to the crowd outside the theatre as he left the venue. Allu Arjun had earlier claimed the police did not approach him at the theatre or ask him to leave.
There is also information that I've been very irresponsible going to the theatre without any permission, which is not true at all. The theatre has sought permission and I've been there, and right in front of my eyes there's police people who are clearing the way, so I was going by their direction. In fact, if there's no permission, they'll tell us that, sir, we don't have permission, please return back, and I'm a law-abiding citizen and I would have followed that. So nothing of that information was given to me.
The police also questioned the role of the actor's personal security guards.
जो भी VIP है, अगर उनके बाउंसर्स का व्यवहार जो है, का बिहेवियर जो है, वो उनकी जिम्मेदारी है, वो VIP की जिम्मेदारी है. वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी जो है, वो VIP पर ही आएगा.
The stampede in Hyderabad has put the spotlight on fan frenzy over big budget films featuring superstars.
Telangana Police and the Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy making a strong statement saying that rules have to be followed and that rule breakers will not be exempted, be it a common man or a celebrity. With video journalist Damodar at Hyderabad, Apurva Jayachandran, India Today.
The theatre stampede and the Pushpa star's arrest has triggered a wildfire of politics. On Sunday, the actor's Hyderabad residence was vandalized. The opposition has claimed that the alleged vandals were not Osmania University students, but rather members of the Congress party. While the Revanth Reddy government has pinned the blame of the stampede death squarely on Allu Arjun, the BRS and the BJP are accusing the Congress of carrying out a political vendetta.
The political fire over Pushpa 2 star Allu Arjun is exploding. Hours after the superstar's house was vandalized in Hyderabad, the BRS released this image of the main accused with Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, claiming that Reddy Srinivas is not an Osmania University student leader but a close aide of the Chief Minister.
It is really shocking that Revanth Reddy has chosen to talk in the assembly about the Allu Arjun issue. Why has Congress party taken this whole issue very personal? Why has it become a Congress party versus Allu Arjun?
As a counter, a Congress MLA posted a picture of the same accused with BRS leader K.T. Ramarao, but admitted that the accused did belong to the party.
He is an OU JS leader in 2009, that is fact. At the same time, he contested, even that is fact. Before this election, he was in BRS, that is also a fact. Now he is in Congress.
But presently he is a youth Congress leader.
No, he doesn't have any position with Congress. He is just a Karyakarta of Congress party.
The Telugu superstar's arrest and the attack on his house has the opposition gunning for the Revanth Reddy government.
The situation over here and the environment over here for film industry is so strong. Definitely we would like to condemn, and action will be taken according to law.
Why the Congress party, Revanth Reddy's government is witch hunting the film personalities. This kind of episode will really make the people scary about living in Telangana.
AIMIM leader Akbaruddin Owaisi triggered another storm as he gunned for Allu Arjun.
2 बच्चे स्टैम्पेड में आ गए, एक औरत मर गई, उसके बाद भी वहीं पर बैठकर पूरा पिक्चर देखकर उठकर जाते वक्त भी वो स्टैम्पेड को नहीं देखे, वो फिर गाड़ी में बैठ के ऐसा वेव कर लेते हुए गए. सर, इंसानियत कहां है बताइए?
A massive protest took place outside the house of Allu Arjun on Sunday, with a large group of people claiming to be students of Osmania University barging into his Hyderabad residence. The protesters also threw tomatoes, broke flower pots inside the house and raised slogans of "We want justice." 6 people were arrested. All were granted bail on Monday by a local court.
మేము దేనికి రియాక్ట్ అవ్వకూడదు ప్రస్తుతం అవి చూసి, బట్ పోలీసులు వచ్చారు, వారిని తీసుకెళ్లారు, కేసు పెట్టారు. ఇవన్నీ ఇక్కడికి ఎవరైనా గొడవ చేయడానికి వస్తే పోలీసులు తీసుకువెళ్ళిపోవడం రెడీగానే ఉన్నారు. కనుక ఇటువంటి ఎవరు ఎంకరేజ్ చేయకూడదు.
The wildfire over the stampede that killed Revathi and turned her 9-year-old son Shritej into a vegetative state continues to rage on. Bureau Report, India Today.
So who's really at fault in the theatre stampede episode at Hyderabad? Who's the real victim here? Joining us on the News Track Showdown, I want to welcome Krishank Mane. He's a leader of the BRS, which is in the opposition at the moment. We have T.S. Sudhir, well-known political analyst out of Hyderabad. I have with me on the broadcast Brajesh Kalappa, who leans towards the Congress. I have Advaita Kala, well-known screenwriter and author. Sanjana Galrani is a well-known actor. And I have Redana, who's a former IPS officer from Telangana. I want to go across to Brajesh Kalappa first, because the manner in which Chief Minister Revanth Reddy and the Telangana police have acted has created a lot of sympathy amongst fans, amongst the Telugu cinema industry, where the consensus view is that this is a gross overreach by the Telangana police and the Revanth Reddy government. How do you justify the actions taken by the police against a superstar who says he didn't know there was a stampede, who says that it's not really his fault because he was there and it's the job of the police to provide protection and it cannot be blamed on him. So let's get started by getting Brajesh Kalapa to respond to critics who say this seems to be some kind of personal vendetta by the Chief Minister, who for some reason is irked with superstar Allu Arjun and is trying to take out his anger.
See, Rahul, the way I see it, and I sit, some 500 kilometers away from Hyderabad, so I'm not really fully aware of everything that has happened there. But I can tell you that the Chief Minister, the Director General of Police, and the Commissioner of Police of Hyderabad, it's really their responsibility to answer for deaths caused, whether by stampede or otherwise, right? This is the first part. Second part is that if, howsoever high a person may be, the law is above him. I think this is the primary rule which ought not to be forgotten, which cannot be forgotten at all. And I think as far as acting against Mr. Arjun is concerned, I think the first thing was that one must, whether you like the decision or not, concede that it was a very tough decision to make, to act against a reigning superstar, a person whose movie has grossed over 1,000 crore in a matter of just days. Now, keeping all these facts in mind, I think the prevailing circumstances, which I think the police have also now released, videos of, how there were no crowds before this superstar's arrival, and so on and so forth. And I think this is something which the Chief Minister, Director General of Police and the Commissioner, they have to, not just for today or tomorrow, but set up a regime for all times as to how film stars conduct themselves and how stampedes and such other, unnatural phenomena can be contained.
Okay, because there's a larger debate here about whether a superstar can be blamed for a stampede that happens on his watch. Remember, in other parts of the country, there have been episodes where literally hundreds of people have died at a Godman's function, and the local authorities were blamed, organizers were blamed, but the Godman wasn't. In this case, they've gone after the superstar. Advaita Kala, I heard a previous comment from you, which seemed to suggest that you thought this was an overreach by the Revanth Reddy government and police. Now we've seen 3 police people, the DG, the Commissioner, we've seen the DCP, we've seen the ACP come out and say that Allu Arjun was informed. The ACP says he himself went to inform Allu Arjun about the fatality. The manager and the bodyguard didn't let him meet Allu Arjun, but he told them exactly what had happened and he asked them to leave. Despite that, the superstar insisted he wanted to stay and watch the movie and refused to go.
Well, he's denied that, and like you said, he didn't speak to him directly. He didn't have access to him in this particular instance. So this is a question of he said and he said, really. That's what it's about. In terms of the actual practice of going to see a movie in the movie hall by stars, it's very common, be it in Bollywood, be it in Tollywood or wherever you have it. You work on a film for years. I've done it myself as a writer. We're not as recognizable, of course, as movie stars. So that kind of situation doesn't arise with us. But the point I'm making is that this is quite normal and it happens very often. And they also asked for permission. So when they've asked for permission, it's been stamped by the ACP, then the responsibility does come on the police to ensure that this goes on smoothly. Because let's be honest here, I mean, if Allu Arjun walked into a news studio, people would flock around him. That's just the kind of superstar he is. I read a lot more into it. I think the Chief Minister has not made it easier for himself by going on this rampage of comments. He shouldn't comment one way or the other. If the law has to take its course, then political leaders should not be commenting. But he's been going on about it. And in some cases, Rahul, very petty things, like who all have come to meet him and why they've come to meet him. Now, people have personal relationships. That has nothing to do with the stampede or the law. That has to do with personal equations. So I'm finding it very strange how the Chief Minister is personally responding, and it leads me to think that it's quite likely something personal here.
You think that there's a personal animosity?
It's made 1,600 crores. Unheard of. Yes, there's something personal here. It's not as straightforward as just the law.
Now, let me ask Mr. Redana, the police officer from Telangana. This ultimately is about the police's responsibility. Stars go to watch films all the time. There's nothing new about that. We've seen a release from the theatre management saying that 2 days before the screening, they informed the Telangana police, which was stamped and received as well, that a star was coming. They didn't name Allu Arjun, but they said the star is coming and that they require security and bandobast. What else can the theatre management do? I mean, they've given the police a heads up. Why is the police trying to pin the blame of the stampede on the superstar?
One thing, whoever may be the person, you have to obey the law. Is it a common man or a superstar or somebody? Law is equal, even for everybody. So one thing is, if they informed him for the permission granting for the procession, they have not taken procession from the, for granting procession permission. So one thing. Secondly, if at all, if they have given the application, they ask, generally police ask, I am not talking about anything. Generally police ask for venue, will it accommodate how many people are expecting, who is the VIP, is he having any threats, is he having any personal security officers, and the venue can accommodate the persons, and how many people are expected. Is there any one gate or two gates? When they grant the permission, they will all ask these questions. About that, they will also ask how many police personnel you need. For that, you have to pay money. Firstly, for getting permission from E-Seva, you are supposed to pay money. I am not talking about this incident. Generally, I am talking. So, for paying, after paying money, you have to send the application for the SHO. SHO can forward it to the Superintendent of Police or ACP. ACP will grant the permission. In return, he will take the permission and also given permission in return. Suppose if the theatre, not only theatre, any public place, if anybody wants police personnel to attend the function, for each constable they have to pay 65 rupees. For each head constable 78 or something like that. For each SI 105 or something like that. You have to pay challan money. Then only they will grant the permission. After granting the permission, they will ask for the venue and the stage, fitness certificate of the stage, gates, electricity department. If suppose you are having...
No, but if that wasn't done, Mr. Redana, isn't that the police's fault? Once again, sir, the theatre management tells the police that a superstar will be coming in 48 hours. You are giving the rule book in terms of how much money needs to be paid. Isn't it then the job of the Telangana police to proactively tell the theatre management that this is what you need to do for us to be able to provide the kind of security that you require?
Theatre management is supposed to take the permission. No. See, suppose if you are having a procession, for that you have to take a special permission.
Okay, let me put that question to Sanjana Galvani. The point that the police officer makes is that they just gave a intimation of presence. You know, the fact that he would turn this into this big tamasha, big procession, road show, that wasn't informed to the police. And one of the police people who did that press conference say that he was told before the film got over that A, he should leave, he insisted on watching it till the end, B, that there'd been this death. Instead of condoling the death or being really sorry and apologetic about it, even after the film gets over and we can see those images, he comes out and does a full mini roadshow. How can that be okay? That just seems very inhuman.
So right now, whatever you're telling me is definitely not summing up for me, because these are allegations that he was, we have no verified information that was Allu Arjun informed that there's a death. There's no proof that is present. This is the news that is doing the rounds. And when it comes to him as a person or any superstar in Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, here, actors are worshipped even beyond God. And the crazy crowd coming in and the crazy festive mood happening, the road show happening, it's all a very normal scenario. Were it be a politician in his place and this entire stampede would have happened. No. And 1 second, let me continue. If this entire stampede would have happened, I'm sure they wouldn't have arrested the politician. You know, here there's a 3-page permission which is in place. All the responsibilities are taken. Not only Allu Arjun, there's a permission for Allu Arjun, his film actress, and the entire unit who's going to come along to watch the film. There was a 3-page permission in place. Just because he's an actor, it's a very big fashion in the country. Okay, if you find an actor, make him a scapegoat, put him in the news and show him how powerful we are. It might be a political vendetta which is riding behind him, or it might be just the cops riding behind him. You know, may it be Aryan Khan, may it be so many other cases where we've seen, if you trap an actor into something, just rub him so hard to set an example out of it, irrespective of he's done the mistake or not done the mistake. Just gun him down so that you can have your collars up saying, okay, I booked Allu Arjun and I have done this case and I am so popular and I am so powerful. People just want to grind the influential people under the nail of law with unintentional problems, and it really destroys the name of the actor.
Okay.
The actor has done the particular problem, conducted it or not conducted, it's a later point of a thing, you know. But just grind the actor and kill his name and tarnish his name.
Yes, Sudhir, why is this happening? You know, usually the police and even governments are wary of taking on big stars, right? You know, because they have such big fans, particularly in the Telugu cinema world, but even elsewhere. You typically don't want to mess with the reigning superstar. So is this really personal vendetta? Is it an equation gone sour? Or is Revanth Reddy just doing his job and following the law?
If you speak to the Hyderabad Police Commissioner and those who are in the Congress government, they would say that they are talking about Revati, the 35-year-old woman who was killed that day at Sandhya Theatre, and her 9-year-old son, who is fighting for his life at Kim's Hospital in Hyderabad. So it's not about Allu Arjun, it's much more about Revati and her son. Now, a point about this entire police permission thing which is being spoken about here. The Sandhya Theatre management 2 days before, that is on the 2nd of December, had asked for permission, informed them that so-and-so stars are coming. But the local police station inspector had also written a handwritten note in which permission was clearly denied, saying that the celebrities should not come to Sandhya Theatre because it is an extremely busy area, which that RTC Crossroads is, and there is entry and exit here. There is only one of them, which would make it very difficult for them to manage the huge crowds which would come for watching this kind of a premiere show of Pushpa Part 2. So permission was denied. So the first mistake, as I see it, is that Allu Arjun, if he was indeed informed by the Sandhya Theatre management that permission had been denied, why did he actually arrive there to watch the movie? Given the fact, he says that for the last 20 years, he's always made it a habit, as Advaita was also pointing out, most stars, people associated with the movie, go to see the movie in a theatre to gauge the reaction of the people. But we also have to remember the kind of fandom that Allu Arjun has is very different. There's a world of difference between pre-Pushpa and post-Pushpa. And that makes a huge difference. And that was the reason why the police found it extremely difficult to control the crowds that day.
Sanjana Galrani is denying that permission was denied.
I have seen the entire debate where the particular case has reached the High Court and there's a lady judge and there was an argument by his, lawyer, Mr. Niranjan Reddy, where they have clearly showed the particular permission letter. If there was a permission which was denied, it would have come up by the public prosecutor in the High Court. On basis of that, he got the bail the very same day because it's a very weak case without any facts. He was sitting inside the theatre and watching the film with his family, while this has happened completely in a different place, outside somewhere where he or his security were not even present. And there's no letter or evidence where the permission was denied.
Sudhir,
I have seen the entire argument of the High Court. It's there.
Sanjana, may I correct you?
Go ahead and you can see. You can go ahead and see the argument by Niranjan Reddy.
I'm
There's no letter which says the permission was denied.
Okay, let Sudhir counter you. Okay.
No, actors are very responsible. You know, we are also responsible figures.
No one is saying, Sanjana, that actors are not responsible.
Come up like that, lifting our face if the permission is denied. If the permission is denied,
Sanjana, you've made a point. Let Sudhir counter that. Sudhir.
Sanjana, the fact of the matter is that, yes, Sandhya Theatre on the 2nd of December had... Will you allow me to talk, please?
Do you have a copy of the denied permission? Before
Yes, I will send you the copy. I will send you the copy. I will send you the copy, Sanjana. There is a letter written by Sandhya Theatre. There is a handwritten note in cursive handwriting written by the inspector. I think his name is Raju Naik, who has written saying that celebrities should not come and stating the reasons why they should not come. if that was communicated to Allu Arjun, I'm not sure whether that was conveyed to him, but if it was conveyed, he should not have come. That's all the point I'm making. And given the kind of crowds that we have been seeing in the footage that has been put out by Hyderabad police, it does seem to be an unmanageable situation. Now, the second part of the story is, as Advaita was saying, it is whether it is between he said and he said. The Hyderabad police said that he was informed that an incident like this has happened outside the theatre. It's not at some other place. It's right outside the theatre. It's a small theatre complex. It's not one of those fancy multiplexes. So if that has happened, did Allu Arjun refuse to go out and say that I will see the entire movie? Or whether as soon as he was informed at around 11:34 or something, he said that, okay, I will leave immediately. So there has been a thing of whether it was communicated, not communicated. We have two versions. It is Allu Arjun's word against the Hyderabad police's word.
Okay.
And that's
Let
for the court
Prashant
to decide
because the PRS has spoken in favor of Allu Arjun. I had a long conversation with Chief Minister Revanth Reddy yesterday. He's accusing the opposition of politicizing this issue. He says, look at the big picture. I'm just doing my job. I have nothing against Revanth. I have nothing against Allu Arjun. The police is doing its job. We're just saying no one is above the law. Revanth Reddy says that Allu Arjun was informed there had been a stampede, that one person has died, and that Allu Arjun should leave. He refused to leave. Why then is the opposition siding with the Telugu superstar, and why are you politicizing this matter?
Well, Rahul, we are not taking sides of Allu Arjun. We are just talking about constitutional rights of any citizen. What is happening here in Telangana is trial arguments in the court, outside the court, in the assembly, and on social media. In the assembly, because when we have asked Honorable Chief Minister Revanth Reddy ji to speak on public issues, it was, as a prime opposition, it was not our demand. But we see Revanth Reddy talking about Allu Arjun's issue in the assembly, number one. Number two, the police department, instead of giving this rejection document out in social media, should have produced it at the court, which they did not do. When the honorable judge asked that if you rejected, where is the document? They could not produce the document. After a couple of days, this document actually surfaced on social media. So the point is, we do not see any case of section also booked on Allu Arjun in FIR that he has violated the norms of disrupting or obstructing the government servant from doing their duties. If Allu Arjun without permission has gone there, why did the police escort him till the first floor at 9:30 p.m. and why did they bring back again at 11:30 p.m. outside? Right at the start, at the beginning of the entrance only, the police could have stopped him and said, boss, you do not have permission, you should leave from here, number one. And after this incident of Revanth Reddy talking in assembly, what happened yesterday? Why did Congress leaders get into this violent mode? Why am I saying this is?
No, but you're saying he's a Congress leader. The Congress has put out images of the same gentleman with K.T. Rama Rao as well. So he seems to have been all over the place as far as his politics is concerned. He's wearing a BRS stole.
Rahul, I will not deny it. For 1 month, this person, Reddy Srinivas, who's the prime accused in the attack yesterday, joined BRS and went back Congress. He is a consecutive winner of Youth Congress President elections of Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's constituency. This is a news of 5th December, not old news, 5th December in the newspapers. He has won the elections of no other constituency of Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's constituency. And not just that, this is a government website document. He is an official candidate for the local body Zilla Parishad elections. Congress candidate from Revanth Reddy's constituency.
Okay, so I want to come to the second part of the debate, which is to do with the attack at Allu Arjun's house. And surely the government on the ground should have done enough to prevent that from happening. You've got these miscreants coming in, throwing all kinds of things inside the superstar's house. But before I do that, I want to play out this clip from an interview I did with the Congress Chief Minister from Telangana, Revanth Reddy. This is the only interview he's done where he explains to the national audience why his police has gone after Allu Arjun. And far from being defensive, he's actually doubling down, saying that no matter who it is, no matter how powerful, if they've erred, the law will act against him under Revanth Reddy's watch in Telangana. तेलुगु सुपरस्टार अल्लू अर्जुन का अरेस्ट, और जब उनका केस बेल के लिए आता है तो आपके पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर कहते हैं कि नहीं भाई, इनको बेल नहीं देना है। यहां पर बैठे तमाम लोग, पुष्पा 2 तो सुपरहिट है, और जो तमाम लोग इस वक्त आपको हैदराबाद में, तेलंगाना में, देश भर में देख रहे हैं, वो जानना चाहते हैं मुख्यमंत्री जी आपकी पुलिस ये क्या कर रही है और क्यों?
राहुल, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया, अगर वो बात अब चर्चा करने से पहले इस देश में सलमान खान, संजय दत्त क्यों अरेस्ट हुआ है? मतलब इस देश में आम आदमी से लेकर प्रधानमंत्री तक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज वन एंड द सेम। डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर जी ने जो संविधान दिया हुआ है, सबके लिए एक ही तरह रूल एंड रिदम है। तो जो पुष्पा 2 रिलीज में पहला दिन बेनिफिट शो जो हमें परमिशन दिया हुआ है कि 300 रुपये टिकट का 1300 बेनिफिट शो बने। बेनिफिट शो में जनता बहुत थे। वो बेनिफिट शो में विदाउट एनी इंटीमेशन, इंफॉर्मेशन और जो सही तरीका से वहाँ पर कुछ भी नहीं था। अल्लू अर्जुन ने वहाँ पर गए, वहाँ पर पूरा मारा धक्का हो गए, वुमेन डेथ हो गई। उनके बेटा आज भी हॉस्पिटल में अभी 13 दिन से जीवन मरण समस्या से लड़ रहा है। तो वहाँ पर पुलिस ने ये रैपिड के बारे में क्रिमिनल केस बुक किए, थिएटर वाले, मैनेजमेंट वाले सबको अरेस्ट किए। 10 दिन के बाद अल्लू अर्जुन को भी पुलिस जाके मिले। वहीं से अल्लू अर्जुन खुद चलकर पुलिस स्टेशन को आए, तब पुलिस वाले कोर्ट के सामने उनको पेश किए, तो कोर्ट ने उनको बेल दिया। वो बात अलग है। मतलब यहाँ पर जहाँ पर लोग, जनता के जान चले गए, जनता के जान चले जाने के बाद भी हम केस कुछ भी नहीं लगाए, तो आप क्या बोलेंगे? सिनेमा एक्टर के लिए, फिल्म स्टार के लिए एक नया संविधान कोई कुछ बनाया। आम जनता अगर वैसे किए तो आप एक ही दिन में जेल में डाल देते, तो ऐसा चर्चा आ जाएंगे। तो हमारे लिए, सरकार के लिए, क्राइम हुआ नहीं हुआ उनके जिम्मेदारी कौन है, इतना ही है। वो स्टार है, फिल्म स्टार है, या नहीं तो पॉलिटिकल स्टार है, स्टार से कुछ लेना देना नहीं।
सवाल ये है, जैसे आप एजेंडा आज तक के इस मंच पर आए, अब यहाँ पर खुदा ना खास्ता आग लग गई या कुछ भगदड़ हो गई, तो आप उसके लिए जिम्मेदार नहीं है ना। मतलब वहाँ का थिएटर ओनर हो सकता है, बाकी लोग हो सकते हैं, आप तो गेस्ट बन के आए। उन्होंने कोई पब्लिक रिलीज भी दी कि 2 दिन पहले बताया गया था पुलिस को। वो तो कह रहे हैं कि भाई तेलंगाना की पुलिस की जिम्मेदारी थी कि वहां पर अच्छे से इंतजाम हो, आपने किया नहीं, आपने स्टार को अरेस्ट कर लिया पब्लिसिटी के लिए।
राहुल, अच्छा सवाल किए। वहां पर वो गाड़ी में बैठकर जाके पिक्चर देख के वापस नहीं गया, गाड़ी के ऊपर आके सब लोगों को चेयर कर दे के, चिल्ला के, ये कर दे के पूरा माहौल पूरा हाथ से निकल गए। अगर अल्लू अर्जुन थिएटर में आगे पिक्चर देख लिए फिर वापस चला गया, कोई चर्चा ही नहीं होता था। गाड़ी में वो पूरा बाहर निकल के, बाहर गाड़ी के ऊपर आ जाके पूरा माहौल को इतना ये कर दिया, कोई कंट्रोल ही नहीं था। तो इसीलिए उनको A1 नहीं बनाया, A11 बनाया। जो A1 है, A2 है, बाकी के लोग हैं। मगर ये महिला के जान चले गए, कौन जिम्मेदारी लेना? आप बोलो, वो परिवार के कौन जवाब देंगे? वो बेटा आज भी हॉस्पिटल में अभी जीवन मरण समस्या से वो लड़ रहा है। अभी तक वो बचे नहीं, उनका बेटा, छोटा बेटा, 9 साल के बच्चा, लड़का अभी हॉस्पिटल में। सरकार का जिम्मेदारी क्या है? पुलिस का जिम्मेदारी क्या है इसमें? आप बोलो। जब वो जनता में जाकर देखने के लिए अगर जा रहा है तो पुलिस को इंटीमेशन कर देना, नहीं तो वहां पर जो मैनेजमेंट है, मैनेजमेंट भी उसका सही तरीका से हैंडल करना। आप इधर बुलाए, आप पूरा माहौल, पूरा सिक्योरिटी के साथ साथ में सब कुछ तैयारी कर लिए, बिना बोले अचानक में ऐसे आ गए तो अगर यहाँ पर कुछ हो गए तो बिना बोले अगर मुख्यमंत्री मैं होकर इधर आए तो भी कोई केस ऑटोमेटिकली पुलिस विल टेक, लॉ विल टेक।
आपके जो विरोधी हैं वो कहते हैं कि एक मंच था, वो तस्वीरें हमारे साथ हैं, वो जब आपको इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे थे तो रिस्पेक्टफुली तेलुगु में बोलना भूल गए, और उससे आपके जो ओपोनेंट्स हैं तेलंगाना में वो कहते हैं उससे आप नाराज हो गए कि तेरी ये मजाल, तूने मुझे अच्छे से इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया।
राहुल,
अब बताता हूँ।
नहीं राहुल, उन बचपन से मैं जानता हूँ उनको, उन जब स्कूल जा रहे थे तब से मैं उनको जानता हूँ, वो मुझे जानता है। तो मुझे जानने का, बोलने का ये सवाल नहीं है। रिलेशन से, पहचान से, नहीं पहचान उनसे ये कोई लेना देना नहीं है। पुलिस का काम है, पुलिस का काम पुलिस ने निभाया।
आपका फेवरेट तेलुगु सुपरस्टार कौन है?
कृष्णा अभी नहीं है। तो अभी तो कोई है नहीं।
आजकल में?
आजकल तो अब
इतना क्लियर है कि अल्लू अर्जुन तो नहीं है भाई, ये तो साफ हो गया।
भाई मैं खुद स्टार हूँ, मेरे लिए कोई फैंस रहना, मैं किसी का फैन नहीं हूँ।
This Srinivas Reddy character at this moment is with the Congress, and Brajesh Kalappa, surely, no matter the level of anger with the Telugu superstar, there is no justification for why miscreants are allowed to gather the residence of Allu Arjun and fling all kinds of things inside his houses. He wasn't there at that moment, but if he was, this could have, somebody could have got hurt if they were playing around, and therefore it's a very dangerous thing to happen on the watch of the Congress government in Telangana.
No, first is, Rahul, I think every person who has the means should employ private security. The police can't attend to everybody's household and ensure that, the household is safe. This is the first part. And like you said,
no, but I don't agree with that. Then anybody who has but then everybody who has some kind of threat perception should take care of themselves. And what's the point of having a government? What's the point of having the police if it's each man for himself?
So, see, first, I don't hold a brief for the Telangana government. I'm not in the Congress party. You're asking me these questions. I have no answer for that. The third part is that as far as people who have the means, they should employ private security. Okay? And fourth part is that a person, a political opportunist who wants to benefit from the chief minister's view of things currently, because the chief minister has apparently taken a very strong view of with Allu Arjun. So if he wants to, curry political favor, that doesn't make the political chief minister also responsible for the actions of this political opportunist. And just now you've shown pictures of him with BRS leaders and all that. So I don't think some opportunist coming and, behaving badly or vandalizing, I don't think should have any
Advaita Kala, Brajesh Kalappa makes the argument, each one for himself. If you have the means, take care of your own security. You shouldn't become a burden on the police. They can't provide security to everyone.
These are, things that are not up for debate. But I think the important point here is that someone has clearly dropped the ball in this question. And I think Sudhir kept saying this handwritten note. I think he's used that very carefully because there is a sense, the moment something gets into that handwritten territory, if it's something generated on a computer, you can track it in terms of when it was made, the document was made, when the changes were made. But with a handwritten note, you don't know when it was written. It could have very well been written after this entire incident took place because it doesn't make the cops look good that this happened. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that, the Chief Minister needs to stop talking about Allu Arjun. If he wants to put across a message that he's tough on crime and doesn't play favorites, fair enough, you've done it. The man has gone to jail for one night. He's out of jail. He's following the law. That's the end of it. I mean, there have been times when I've been standing in line in mandirs and felt like there's a stampede coming or there's claustrophobia. So this is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but it's also very common in our country. We can't move away from that. And in this particular situation, when permission was asked for and it was not and the security wasn't given, I think the cops have a lot to answer for, and a lot of this is a cover-up job.
Sudhir, respond to Advaita Kala's concern that this handwritten note could well have been post facto. Once something's gone wrong, once you've seen how it got messed up, we don't know whether this handwritten note was written before the episode or after.
Well, 3 points here. Yes, the Hyderabad police never revealed that there was this permission which had apparently not been granted on the day this entire thing broke, which is why the initial reaction was that the Hyderabad police had completely messed up because they had been informed that celebrities are going to come and they had not responded. And the initial reaction of the police was that we get 300 such requests every day, we can't be responding to them. Subsequently, after a day or two is when this handwritten note surfaced. Now, whether this was something which was given before or not. Sanjana, 1 minute. Sanjana, 1 minute. Sanjana, 1 minute. The only thing which gives some amount of credibility, I'm not vouching for the authenticity of the handwritten note, but the only thing that gives some kind of credibility to the handwritten note is that there is a signature of the Sandhya Theatre management acknowledging the denial of permission. That's the limited point I'm making. But yes, the Hyderabad police has not covered itself with glory. They did not reveal that there was this kind of a handwritten note. The inspector who we spoke to, he said that this was part of the documentation that was provided to the court. but it was not discussed in court to the best of my knowledge. So there are lots of ifs and buts and lots of question marks, and everyone, I mean, no one has really come out of this entire episode smelling of roses.
Sanjana Galrani, Brajesh Kalappa made the point that Srinivas Reddy is a
Can I just come in for
okay,
1 second,
Brajesh,
Rahul?
yes, very briefly.
Just 1 second.
Yes,
See,
yes.
like they say, Rahul, never look a gift horse in the mouth and make a complaint. Now, if this letter, which the SHO has in his pocket, if it was shown to the High Court, would Mr. Arjun have walked out that day after having received bail? After having taken the benefit of that letter not being shown to the court, now I don't think it's right for anybody to even speak about it. I think the Hyderabad police has also kept quiet about it. I think the effect has been that Mr. Arjun has walked out. So there's no point in bringing it up and saying,
Let
no,
Redana respond to this. Redana ji, Brajesh Kalappa, I think, has a very good point. And if this note existed where permission was denied, they could have taken it up when it came up for hearing before the court. They never brought it out at that time. No, one second. Let's hear from the IPS officer, because the Hyderabad police also is not covering itself in glory here.
Generally, whenever you get a written permission, we'll return it on the letter itself, and made a entry. It runs every second in the document, general diary. It will be written there. Every minute it runs. You cannot modify it. That has to be seen. If at all, if the SHO is done it afterwards, you can see the general diary. You cannot mess it up. See, if he has denied the permission, one more thing, whatever it is, whoever applies for the permission, generally I am not talking about this incident, generally they have, after applying, they have to take a written permission from the SHO or the ACP or the Superintendent of Police. If at all, if they are keeping quiet, that means it is rejected. Generally, it will happen. If at all, if you wanted a permission, you have to take a written permission from him. Or if at all, as you said,
because Sanjana Galrani, you keep saying that there's a stamp of the Telangana police on the application.
One minute.
Yes, sir.
Please. Please wait. I don't want to interfere with this incident. I'll tell you the general phenomena. If at all, if somebody is rejecting, the rejecting entry will be reflected in the general diary. It will run every second. It is an authenticated document. It will be there forever. And it cannot be changed or modified. This I know. Generally, what as a police officer...
Sanjana Galrani, you keep making the argument that the Sandhya Theatre authorities applied for permission, but then it's just, all you have from the Telangana police is a received stamp. It doesn't mean that permission has actually been granted. In fact, Sudhir argues that it was denied in this handwritten note.
It does not even mean that the permission has been denied.
Authorities did. If they applied for permission.
Denied, then why will there be a seal and a signature over there? Why will he get the bail?
The entire
bail was
stamp.
based on the entire fact that he walked out on the very same day that the case was framed was because they had a very strong permission letter. And that speaks loud volumes and volumes for itself. He walked out the same very day. Otherwise, a celebrity getting caught in something like this, we were all afraid he would not come out for the next 15 days or 20 days or 30 days or God knows how many days. Because when celebrities are trapped, they become high-profile cases and it takes months together. We've seen that in the past. Irrespective of they are at fault or no. Here he's not at fault and the judge herself told he's not accused. You have forced him to become accused in this case. This case doesn't even stand and she granted the bail. And it's not very far that one of these weeks we'll be sitting and discussing here that the case is completely
so in the last few minutes that I have, I want to look at the larger issue because remember when this gentleman called Narayan Sakar Hari or Bhole Baba, when there was a stampede in Kasganj district in Uttar Pradesh, the spiritual preacher Suraj Pal was not booked. Everybody around him was booked and therefore...
If it was a politician, he would not be booked.
That's the point. That's
Rahul,
the point.
I can vouch for this. If it was a politician
that's the point that Sanjana is making. 123 people died in that case, Brajesh Kalappa, in Uttar Pradesh, and the UP police at that time said it's not Bhole Baba's fault. If 123 people die and it's not Bhole Baba's fault in Uttar Pradesh, how can one person, I'm not taking the value away from that one life of Revanth, but we need to apply legally the same principles and you need to advocate yourself.
No, I agree wholly, Rahul. And this is what is wrong with Uttar Pradesh. In fact, if you have people openly wearing saffron and administering garment without bothering about their spiritual duties, I think there is something inherently wrong with all this. Even if in any country, even it was a Christian priest who was ruling.
Advaita Kala, respond to Brajesh Kalappa. He says it doesn't mean that Revanth Reddy is wrong. It means that Yogi Adityanath and his police was not in the right. They should have booked Narayan Hari.
You know, I'm again going to go back to what I said in my previous comment, was that, you know, these situations unfortunately do arise in our country. We've seen them happen at temples. I felt that pressure myself. You cannot hold people accountable who are the main attraction of that event. Be it a politician in a rally where this happens, be it Shah Rukh Khan, whose event it happened at with Rais, and the court let him go, or be it Allu Arjun. These are very tragic incidents, no doubt. But then culpability will come on the hands of the crowd management, the cops, the organizers. Those are the people who are eventually, and of course, the public themselves. That is the fact of the matter. It cannot be twisted into something where you make a target out of somebody, despite it being so tragic.
You've heard all sides of the story. As always on the news track, I don't pick a side. We leave it to our viewers to determine who they think has the more compelling argument. Is Revanth Reddy, the Telangana Chief Minister, right when his police goes out and arrests Allu Arjun, or is this actually some kind of personal vendetta playing itself out? You've heard the arguments. You make up your own mind. For the time being, Krishank Mane, T.S. Sudhir, Brajesh Kalappa, Advaita Kala, Sanjana Galrani and Mr. Redana for joining me on the news track. Thank you very much. A devastating road accident near Bengaluru that claimed 6 lives has put the spotlight on road safety. A truck carrying aluminium pillars veered off course and overturned, crushing a Volvo XC9, which is considered one of the safest cars in the world.
Family of 6 killed in a tragic road accident. Travelling at a high speed, a truck veered off course, crossed the median and overturned onto a SUV. The truck carrying aluminium pillars was going to Bengaluru when the driver lost control of the vehicle while attempting to avoid a collision with another vehicle ahead, which had apparently slowed down suddenly. This was the exact truck, as you can see, and you can also gauge the kind of impact that this accident has had. The front of this lorry has completely been smashed. In fact, including the steering that's been completely out of shape. You can also spot the inner parts of this truck, as you can just imagine the impact of the fall. The impact of the chilling crash was catastrophic, leaving the car completely mangled, killing an IT company's CEO and 5 of his family members. Every single part of this car has been brought out because of the catastrophic accident that took place. You can also take a look at that seats, the debris, the dirt. It's just completely bone-chilling to even imagine the plight of that people who were seated inside this car. The family had recently bought the SUV. The accident has sparked a conversation about road safety. With Anaga Keshav in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
The GST Council's clarification on popcorn tax has sparked an online meme frenzy. Plain popcorn with salt and spices will now attract 5% GST. Packaged popcorn, if you buy it, will attract 12% GST. And caramelized popcorn would attract 18% tax. Another issue which caught the fancy of social media users was the increase in the GST rate of used cars.
A 2-day meeting of the high-powered GST Council in Jaisalmer, attended by nearly all state finance ministers and headed by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Several important decisions were taken at the meet. But what ended up hitting headlines, particularly in social media, was the decision to take the humble popcorn in 3 slabs, from 5% to 18%. Social media erupted with memes and humorous responses. With users joking about everything from tax slabs for drinking water to wondering how the various popcorn mixes will be taxed. The chatter in social media was such that even the finance minister took cognizance of the issue.
From the morning, there's a lot of speculation in the media. And as a result, there's a lot of speculation in the social media. अरे पॉपकॉर्न के ऊपर भी डाल रहे हैं टैक्स. मैं मीडिया से हाथ जोड़कर रिक्वेस्ट करती हूं, ये पूरे प्रेस मीट हम करते हैं हर जीएसटी काउंसिल के बाद. टैक्स ऐसे विषय है जिसमें बहुत लेयर्स होता है. कोई आंख बंद करके टैक्स लगाते भी नहीं है और आंख बंद करके हटाते भी नहीं है.
Another issue which caught the fancy of social media users was the increase in GST rate on sale of used cars. Social media pages exploded with angst over what everyone thought was injustice by the GST Council. There were reports that the council had decided to impose a tax on sale of used vehicles. Ultimately, it emerged that the tax was only for transactions between businesses and not individuals.
नया व्हीकल्स ईवी खरीदने में 5% है. Am I right? 5%. पुराने ईवी व्हीकल्स खरीदने का विषय ही आया है. We want to promote EV. GST Council is in favor of EV. Nobody is stopping people from buying EV. मगर used EV खरीदने के समय एक व्यक्ति दूसरे व्यक्ति को सेल करेगा तो कोई नहीं है उसमें. The same thing as 5%. No GST. Sorry.
With the council deferring decisions on lowering the tax on life and health insurance premiums, as well as levying tax on food delivery by app-based platforms, there have been some on social media who have criticized the council for making popcorn the headline decision in the meet. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
This is where I wrap up the news track tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye. Good night.